Alrighty, guys. Apparently, these guys got started, huh? Oh, apologies. Just wanted to take the dog out, and she was just taking a while. That plus, sometimes these games start quickly. Obviously, I have no control of the games and stuff, guys. I'm just watching a clean feed, so apologies for that. As we welcome you into Clem versus ByuN. Couple minutes in, I'm sure you've done all your Twitch chat analysis already. Looks like this is replays, guys. Both the players not on camera. I'd say that this is just going to be replays because Clem has next today. Makes sense. Again, we're not casting next because it's a little bit silly to go live for literally like an hour. Only to be done so soon after and stuff. It's just silly. I don't like it. Not a fan. So yeah, looks like they're just going to play this one from a replay. That's all good. I imagine Clem would potentially be done for an ace match if it gets to that point. It'll be kind of interesting to see as we get into this TvT. Reaper hops up, Helene is on its way in, and a couple of Reapers going to be popping out. Both players look like they're mirroring each other so far. You can see the Reapers and the Hellions heading down to the bottom side of the map, so already going to put on a little bit of pressure here. Clem looking to try and get aggressive out down to the south. And yeah, just going to start moving in towards this natural expansion, which is going to be, well defended. I mean, ByuN's not going to have any openings here for Clem to take advantage of, so that will not really lead to or amount to anything just yet. That will just sort of be held back, and on we go. For the moment, those few units again just falling back a little bit, just hanging around. Again, the other units just kind of setting up and just going to be seeing the tech lab on about to finish up on this starport. So that will be a tech lab and a Raven now already on the way out as well. So just bringing this Raven into play. And meanwhile, yeah, Cyclone, sorry, and a few Marines will make their way out down to the bottom left. So it's going to be Clem to be the aggressor. He always loves the medevac. He always loves being the feisty player. Funnily enough, ByuN goes for the tank first, then he's going to go for his own Cyclone. So he sees the value in a Cyclone, he just really wants the tank to help him hold defensively initially, maybe knowing how aggressive Clem likes to be. In we go as the first Hellion takes a pretty big hit already, taking a step back now, and the Reaper going back around, back into the natural, as we do see another command center going up in the main base. And these few units of ByuN just kind of pressing forward there is going to grab a Marine. So Marine already going down. Now the Cyclone and other Marines getting picked up. Brought away up to the top side. Yeah, okay, it's not much really done. We're getting through pretty passive early game TvT at the moment. And just kind of going from there. Hey, Howdy 101, thank you so much for the 2-month resub. Says thanks for the cast. Thank you so much for the 2-month resub. Much appreciated. Thank you very much indeed. As we do jump in, and that's going to be a couple of SCVs already going down. These Reapers, we've seen them lately just getting a lot done. There was some games yesterday where Reapers got way too much done. And again here, we're going to see them being fairly successful. I mean, they're going to be still behind this mineral line. Clem didn't want to drop the auto turrets. And he actually pays for it, loses another couple SCVs. But, I mean, he could have had an auto turret down and probably not lost those 2 SCVs extra. So yeah, that's actually really nice. ByuN getting 6 workers already. That is fantastic. Really, really good stuff. That's going to be seeing our units of ByuN moving into the center. Tank getting siege. Marines coming up. Pushing up this ramp and just getting going. Marines, tanks, couple of Ravens. We are going to be seeing ByuN starting to push in. Raven's going to drop the auto turrets immediately there for ByuN. He kills off a Raven right away. Clem is siege though, and so the siege damage is going to be massive, and that's pretty much why Clem is able to hold. I actually think the fight started way better for ByuN, but like I say, kind of an interesting choice not to siege as ByuN, because he absolutely could have done. It's not like Clem was pre-sieged. And what's actually kind of funny as well is that these Reapers are actually fast enough to obviously just chase down these Marines as well, so they actually continue to, and Clem gets a few more unit kills towards the end of this, so it's a pretty big deal also. As the CC comes out, ByuN wants to take the third. Clem will be doing the same. Of course, ByuN is the one who's going to have to start defending, as Clem is marching across the map at the moment. I'm just going to see 1-1 continuing through. Stim's just over halfway done. Just going to be seeing the two Vikings firing away. One Viking already taking some damage. Stim pack is just about to finish, and just going to be seeing Clem obviously going to be able to use that perhaps as well for some aggression. I mean, it's tough though once tanks are sieged. Breaking those points are not exactly easy, right? So, especially on Glitter and Ashes, big map, but lots of chokes, and that's going to be a big part of the problem here. As you just see our units of Clem coming around this left-hand side, Cyclone taking a hit, and just going to be seeing our units continuing down the left again. So Clem trying to see what he can get up to, or what he can get done at the moment, as the medevacs are going to load up, and they're going to head down to the south or so. I'm just trying to take a little bit of position with these Hellions again, just trying to get something done. I mean, these medevacs looping around, I like it, because ByuN's really focusing on the frontal defense on the third base, but of course the attack may very well actually happen from this right-hand side of those medevacs, and if there's not enough defense there, that would be rough. That Raven just about surviving as into the natural we go. Protect the siege tank, yep. Need to keep the siege tank alive, because that's going to really help you kind of hunker down in this position. Engineering base will finish their upgrade. Nice little scan there as you figure out exactly how you want to approach this. SCVs start running in. There's medevacs versus no medevacs, though, if Marines get involved, and that's going to mean that Clem's Marines are just going to be that much better, although ByuN does have combat shields, and that makes a bit of a difference, too. But 17 SCVs just went down. This move was well crafted by Clem. He was really just showing everything toward the front of the third base and being like, oh yeah, look, this is the threat, this is the danger, be aware over here, be scared. And then of course the drop in the natural is just where ByuN is least expecting it. He's just not in position to do anything at all with that, and that was a little bit rough. Is just going to be seeing Clem falling back, has a lead now. Few SCVs, bit of work account lead. Obviously has been mining a bit more comfortably throughout as well. As we do see ByuN about to finish up his fourth command center. Clem has... so Clem's got his own fourth coming up as well. I was just looking for that on the minimap, but it's in the production tab too. So their fourths are about the same time here. So yeah, just minor leads on Army and Eco for Clem. And that's a big deal, as I think he's also the first player with the second factory. And if that's the case, that's obviously a big deal too, because now his tank count is forever going to be that little bit better than ByuN's, and that's going to mean that he can do a little bit more positionally on the map, etc. So, something else to look at. That's going to be morphing the planetary force down the south side. Our Marines will come forward, and a few Marines of ByuN just out in the open. When you're already behind an army supply, that's a group of Marines you don't really want to be losing like that. I mean, I know it's just 6 Marines, but it kind of all adds up, you know? Definitely all adds up, as SCVs will come in to repair the planetary fortress here, protected as it continues to morph on in. And we are going to be actually just stemming through here, and Clem, comfortable and confident that he's got the numbers, he's going to get the 4th base, right? I mean, he's going to get a siege on the planetary at least, and you pretty much now have to break this. And it's obviously just Clem's in his own siege position. How's the Raven going to do this? He's going to drop an anti-arm missile, which does hit everything. Now the Marines are like, screw it, let's just go for the planetary fortress. Just going to look to overpower this. The SCV is going down, and the planetary will die. ByuN is going to take this as a chance to start running forward, but I mean, now it was too late. The planetary was going to die no matter what, so now you're just giving up units for no reason at all. 23 SCVs going down. That's a lot of losses here for ByuN. And now these tanks are going to siege up from far. Oh, don't tell me he's going to lose the +2 attack upgrade. If those tanks focus on that single engineering bay, I think that's a cancel on the upgrade in time. Maybe it's being repaired or so. No, I think that's cancelled, right? That's, yeah. +2 finishes, +2 armor finishes, but +2 attack gets cancelled. That's pretty rough. As Vikings do land to clean out the tanks over in this direction, but yeah, Clem just continues to take advantages here. And even if this army gets cleaned up, which I would say at this point is kind of likely, Medevac should get away. Probably should have remembered the Raven. That's kind of nice to keep alive. But he got the Vikings out. Look at the reinforcements he just has streaming across the map. He just has so many units to make use of. So, yeah. Well, going to be seeing our tank siege up again. Marines trying to make their way up this ramp, and the tanks will continue to fall. ByuN types GG, and Clem is going to take the first map of this. Alright, go Clem. Puts Team Liquid into the lead. As you can see, we are not wasting much time at all getting into this next game, though, so we'll have this underway in a jiffy. Hey, what's up, Manakino? Thank you so much for the 33-month resub on the Prime as well. Much appreciated. Welcome back for 33 months, almost 3 years. Thank you so much for that. As Clem and ByuN go into map number 2. The map pick is Pride of Altaris from ByuN. Wow, that's a big map. I can't tell if you guys are hating on Horston because he's in the chat and it's a good meme, or if you're hating on Horston because you guys are just haters and you don't realize that Horston has like an 8-2 record this season in the team league, and so you're just looking a bit silly right now. I like to think it's the former, that we're just, you know, we're just trolling Horston a little bit. How'd Horston go? Like, did he pay Team Liquid to send him out in the roster again? Yeah. I guess I'll set up a double gas here from Clem. ByuN, with the size of the map, is going to say, yeah, you know, I'm fine just going into my single gas expansion. That's definitely something you can do on Pride. The map is absolutely big enough to let you do that. What do you think? Horston's got haters? Yeah, you don't become this popular without having haters. You know, Horston likes to crack a good joke every now and then and be a funny guy. You know for a fact there are some people that have been on the wrong end of that joke and they didn't like it. You know he's got some real enemies deep down. They don't show themselves often, but when they do, yeah, they're there. I was actually being honest. I wasn't actually calling out your comment. It was the person that was said, is he favored against anyone? But like I say, it wasn't even a bad comment. I wasn't really calling anyone out. I just thought it was funny because he's in the chat. That was all. It's okay. Horston bullies me enough. If you guys want to bully Horston in my stream, there's absolutely no rules against it as long as you keep it civil. Early game, pretty standard. As, excuse me a second, I've got a puppy that's demanding some tummy rubs, so let me see to the pup as we just get this game set up a little bit. Yes, hello you. Yeah, just gonna be seeing our command centers coming up, right? A very quick 3 CC in the main base from ByuN, but didn't expand on the low ground, so yeah, he took the faster expansion on 1 gas, but at the cost of it being in his main, I kind of like where Clem is at because of that. It feels like that's just going to be fine for him. Then he's got his starport finishing up, tech labs on the way, everything else is pretty much even, so yeah, I mean, faster CC, but it's got to float down. I think this is just going to be an even opening on a nice big map. You know, really big maps like this in TvT, obviously, yes, you can get split map, but there's going to be so many openings to cover defensively. A lot of the time, I feel like this is the sort of map that induces a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a fiesta, right? A little bit of mayhem. Because it's the sort of map which I really think will kind of encourage something wild, like kind of like mad drops all over the place. You know, it's difficult to keep all your bases up, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's something which I would imagine. So yeah, no, I kind of intrigued to see how TvT plays out. You just really don't see this map a lot, because even if one player wants to play, I feel like the other player doesn't, even in the mirrors. So yeah, obviously in this situation, ByuN just gets a free map pick after map 1, and he says, well, let's play on this map. But am I going to try and bow her up here? Ruddermine has got taken down. It tanked a lot of shots, obviously, and took the attention away from the other units for a while. It was obviously... he uses this as a chance to get the Reapers in, but they won't actually finish off any workers. Oh, they get 1, maybe 2. Okay, I guess 2. Not bad in the end. Yeah, I was going to say the cool thing of this for Clem was the Widowmine tanked some good damage. Obviously, the Raven allowed continued detection, so the Widowmine did actually go down. I think that was a big part of this, an important part of that. And now we just got this medevac going home. Very low cost from Clem. Gets a couple SDVs, trading out his Reapers, as obviously they don't do too well as the game goes on anyway, so it's kind of just a whatever. And yeah, on we go. Stem's already starting up from ByuN as Clem gets a third CC going, so there is going to be a bit of divergence in how the two of them continue in this game now. ByuN also focusing on medevac production already, while Clem is still building Ravens and probably will want to build Vikings, so you would imagine that this is going to lead you into a situation here, which is going to mean that Clem is essentially going to be in a... to me, it means that Clem's going to end up in a position where he's going to essentially just have a much more defensive setup, but ByuN's going to be kind of trying to puncture him in multiple different places, so that's how I see this playing out. Let's see if it does. Hellion will get caught in the middle. Cyclone then comes through, though, and gets a good lock on. I almost thought it got bounced up the ramp for Vision. The Cyclone just gets away. No, he goes down, locked on at the last second again, and that's going to be just a little bit painful as well. As the two medevacs of ByuN are moving out, Clem needs to make sure he's got defenses at home for this, because obviously with Stim, that can be extremely dangerous if you're not careful. So that's something to absolutely be looking out for here. You want to make sure that this is going to be something you can cope with, deal with. Yeah, because again, 16 Marines that stim into your main base is pretty deadly if you're not really properly prepared. So something to, like I say, have some concerns about for sure. Here we go. SCV's pulled pretty quickly. He's going to get his tank starting to siege up. He's got Ravens here too. That's a good quick response from Clem. He's got Vikings to chase down the medevacs as well, and while he won't kill any, he will, scare them off, saying, hey, look, you're low HP now. If you come back in, it's going to be dangerous for you. You don't really want to lose those medevacs, so that's a lot of the control you have in this game right now. That was actually a cute little moment as Clem drops the auto turrets, just saying, nah, not letting you do too much, and he finds a corner where, oh, the tank is in range. He wasn't in range of all the Marines, though. There was a position there I think Clem could have dropped in and been safe. Just doesn't happen, unfortunately. Marines do catch the medevac on the way out. It's a good catch from ByuN on the left-hand side as the Marines and the tank come back into the center of the map. Move around the right with Marines, couple tanks, medevacs, and a Raven. That's going to be the one to get position onto the natural of Clem, I think. There's a Raven going to get Interference Matrix already. That's nice, as now the first tank of Clem in some trouble. He's got another tank a bit further back, though. That one's going to get Matrix too. His Ravens are going to drop all the turrets to hell, and so far it's looking like it's enough. Actually able to turn this around. That other Raven also still in a little bit of trouble here. Okay, that's a good defense from Clem. He will defend. Starts up as 1-1. That's something he'll be behind on too. Again, he's behind, but it's for a reason. He's behind because ByuN really focused on the bio units this game. ByuN really said, look, I want to get into my bio units. I'm getting stim quickly, right? All of this kind of stuff. So because ByuN does that, then you've got the rest of this situation where Clem is just behind on anything that's kind of like Marine focused. And that's okay to an extent, but there is obviously limits as these tanks are maybe in some trouble. Clem really being hurt a little bit by just the pressure that ByuN's able to apply here and there. He gets rid of all the medevacs, though. I think that's a huge deal, as the tank line is scary, yes, but now Clem's got the Marines to fight this off. He just needs to find a way through this tanks, and obviously his Ravens are out of energy, and that's going to create some problems for him being able to do this. Orbital for now will lift off and just pull back a little bit, you know, give up the money that would go on repairs basically as these Vikings get adventurous. And Clem's is going to build 2 Liberators because there's no air control here, so Liberators will push this back. They will do what Clem is looking for. And that's a very important part of this right now, so... Yep, a couple of libs coming through. There's just not the air control you need to really deal anything about this. You've got the tank support here as well to support the libs if the Marines want to stim in, and bet you are going to get a tank for free up on the top side already. Yeah, so this is annoying. Clem's not mining off the 3rd base, but it is going to be resolved shortly. Here's our first Liberator. Do we want to wait for 2? Yeah, he could have waited for 2 and maybe slowed down the pushback, but guaranteed himself an extra kill or so. Now he gets 1 tank. The other tank's back away, and Clem's immediately just going to put a sensor tower down. I love that adjustment. He just immediately says, right, look, this is a game where, you know, he's really kind of making use of the size of the map and all the different directions he has to use on the map. Let's not let him keep doing that. Let's just take that option away from him as soon as possible. The sooner I get rid of that, the better it's going to be. Let's scan out into the center. Clem looking at a Marine moving forward, which will just go down. Obviously, ByuN is just establishing control in the middle. And from there, you can kind of branch off to the left side, right side, any sort of direction you wish. So, I imagine we'll be seeing a little bit more of that soon. Hey, thank you so much for the donation. I'll mention that properly after the game. Just letting you know I have seen it. I appreciate it. Just obviously want to focus on the game as it gets into an interesting moment here. As Clem actually snuck some Marines up this right side. That could be cool, just to stim into the 3rd. If ByuN believes he's got full map control and he doesn't think Clem's got anything on the map, that is a point of danger for ByuN, because if he really believes he's just safe, right, then, and he isn't, well, that's kind of costly, that's kind of difficult for him, so, yeah, definitely something to watch out for as our Marines continue through the top. ByuN is making a play on the right-hand side. These Marines come through, going to get a missile turret initially, and the Marines now just going to be pulling back a little bit. These Marines stimming in from the right, but ByuN's got units at home this time, so... Nice attempt from Clem. I like the idea. I really did. I thought it was a cool idea. I thought it had potential. But the moment those Marines actually arrived was just not actually the moment they wanted to be here this time. As libs will continue to help to push tanks away, and yeah, Clem just making sure he's making use of his air control. Catching up to 2-2, so his Marines are going to be even on upgrades as well here shortly. Yeah, all the good stuff continuing at the moment as our Marines back into the center of the map. Just going to be seeing the Marines tanks spreading out a little bit and just going to be having now a 3-3 upgrade starting on the engineering base, 2-2 on the other side. I mean, again, Clem always behind on those upgrades this game, but again, that's the reason he's got the air control, etc., right? So yes, you're behind in one way, but then you're ahead in another, and you know, that's just a cycle which continues through. As we load up some medevacs, and ByuN going to try and find some aggression, but there is a few units on the left-hand side. Would love to see that, because it looks as though Clem is right underneath these medevacs. Well, there's not enough Marines to kill the medevacs off, but it's enough Marines to obviously force them to think twice about what they're getting up to here. And that alone is kind of cool. As ByuN takes more command centers, this game continues to progress into a later state right now. Additional CCs coming up. Our starports are on the way in. And just going to be seeing tanks sieged. I think that forward base of Clem might be in some trouble, although he's going to try and get his Liberator forward. Oh my god, the Marines get massacred. A Liberator goes down at the cost of what, like 20 Marines? Oh, here's the drop in the main base, though. So these medevacs did get through, and Clem maybe not respecting that enough. Auto turrets going down, drops a Matrix on one of the tanks. Oh man, he's got so many Marines coming back through this, and you've got to retreat through missile turrets. It's a disaster for ByuN. It looked so tempting, but Clem was here so quickly after it initially seemed bad for him. And he gets the full cleanup for losing what? Really just barely anything, I want to say. I really think this was very good for him right away. My goodness, that is... it's kind of sick, actually, not going to lie. Well, Clem just cleans that up again, like I say. It looked momentarily problematic, perhaps, but comes through to be decent. Crazy stuff. Just continue through over the left-hand side as we continue in. Just going to be seeing our tanks moving forward. Marines as well. CC moving to the top, so that 12 o'clock position being taken is, again, tanks setting up, Marines taking quite a bit of damage. I'm just gonna go for this, huh? These Marines should start stimming. It kind of felt like slow-mo. These Marines are like slowly blundering down the ramp, and finally like, oh yeah, we're in a fight, right? And they stim up and like, oh, that was cool, that was good. That was effective. Okay, well, a few odd moments in amongst all of this, but I think at the end of the day, Clem is just taking control through the center. I just don't see what ByuN does about this Viking count. He's building 3 Vikings and 2 Ravens at a time, Clem. And ByuN's building 4 Vikings at a time, yes, but he's got to play catch-up, and then Clem's going to have the Ravens on top of that, and I think that's obviously a pretty important part to keep in mind, obviously. The Ravens are pretty good units to have, believe it or not. There's one Raven that's on a journey to the right side. I'm not sure. I think Clem does see that. He just doesn't know how to take advantage of it because it is protected by Marines. High ground tanks. Oh, he actually lost vision because these Vikings went over that, and he just unsieged his tanks as well, so maybe ByuN can counter and actually do some damage himself, clean up a lot of these tanks. And Clem just didn't have his reinforcements coming through just yet. That was the perfect moment for ByuN. Literally, mostly because Clem just didn't have the tanks sieged anymore. If the tanks were still sieged, he could have just had the Vikings coming over and it would have been perfect, but obviously didn't quite work out. It could have been a very different situation as Vikings will continue to lead forward as well. Tank fire trading out. ByuN still holding this high ground, holding the center. I tell you what, ByuN is on 5 bases now as well, so he is keeping that base count whirring away, and that's definitely a notable factor here as well. Still just that air control, though, just ridiculous in favor of Clem. Okay, ByuN is building the Vikings. He's trying to get there, but it's not like Clem's letting up. It's not like Clem's like, oh yeah, I've got enough air control, let's stop building Vikings. No, he's still building more of them. Now Clem's got this gold base up and running as well, so just going to get this one up and running. Here we go. All the turrets going down to try and help against the Marines. I love that Clem's brought his Marines back. He says, I just don't need them. If I bring my Marines back, keep them alive for later, that's better for me. He gets a couple more Vikings before he backs away as well, which also turns out just to be a good trade. Who would have thought it? I gotta say, guys, Clem's TvT in this series has looked absolutely spot on. It's looked perfect. It's okay, not perfect. It's not like Mario-esque, but you know, honestly, we've seen I feel like we've seen some cool plays from him, patient play. And I know the supplies are still even. I just feel like Clem's got good control of the game. He's showing very good patience with this Viking army, this Raven force. Really saying, look, I needed to, you know, one of his issues last year, a lot of the time when he played against Mario, is that he didn't use Ravens. I think even in the DreamHack season final, is one of the things that Mario said about Clem's TvT is, hey, he uses Ravens now. And it's great to see Clem just continue to kind of do something about something that really was a problem for him, because not using Ravens was clearly a reason he couldn't beat Maru last year. And right now, Maru's playing some amazing TvT, but like I said, I just feel like Clem's definitely taking this in the right direction. Marine tank moving around into the center. Thanks, firing. Again, ByuN's biggest benefit is just the fact that he holds the middle of the map, right? And that definitely goes a long way in this situation. But I do feel like Clem is just trading well, and I mean, I wonder how this continues. There's obviously you got advanced ballistics coming up, etc. That's going to make a bit of a difference here too. Very intrigued. That's what we're trying to set up in the front. These Vikings are looking for some opportunity, perhaps. So we're going to see this fight breaking out. Auto turrets already set up to go down. Couple more tanks will siege. You got a big bunch of matrices. I mean, that's a massive push forward here. Marines for a moment were like, let's go! And then they were like, oh no, let's not. Is that just all 5 siege tanks going down that were matrixed? Yep. I mean, that's just so expensive, right? No wonder Clem's the one building up a bank. On less workers, he's building up a larger bank than what ByuN is. I really think that speaks dividends to the fact that Clem is just trading so well here. Those Ravens are being used very well. He's been very good with the Viking usage as well, as he flew 1 Raven into Vikings there, but in general, I think he's just been very consistently good throughout this. Obviously, upgrades that as well. He's just got +1 ship weapons and +1 vehicle plane was already done, so he's got the upgrade lead on the Vikings as well, and that air battle definitely seems to be one of the more important ones, and just baits Vikings into marine control there as well. I mean, again, as the game does kind of stalemate out in the center of the map, it just still feels like Clem is taking a lot of the advantages, and he's just going to make a move on the left-hand side. And he's going to bring the tanks up here. I believe he can bring the Marines up as well. It's going to be another 4 siege tanks dead. Didn't even stim. He knows he's got a low medevac count. Says if I don't need a stim, let's not do it. Let's not waste my energy on the few medevacs that I've got. I really appreciate that, because that would have been a pointless stim, but I feel like a lot of people would have done it anyway, you know? Is Clem just going to go now? He's taken down so many tanks before now. He is just going to start stimming forward. There's only 1 or 2 tanks sieged up that are firing at the moment, and not the prettiest from Clem. In fact, I think that was actually a misplay, and he actually really gets punished for it a little bit. All the things Clem has done right, 1 bad moment, and ByuN takes a little bit of an advantage. Back away. I think that he really thought he could push through, but the Marines just kind of clogged it up enough. My YouTube just dropped in quality, guys. Let's turn that back up. Sorry. Let's turn this back up a little bit and get going again. It's just going to see Vikings controlling the center now from ByuN. 14 Vikings to the 1. So Clem has 9 additional tanks, but now is ByuN just in too much air control. ByuN's building Liberators too, so he is going to be able to push back the tank line of Clem, and Clem's not unsieging his tanks to 4 Liberators, and they're going to be going down. Clem taking a lot of damage here all of a sudden, and now ByuN has got the Vikings to make a move as well. He does come into Marine range though, and those Marines do fight back. Tank's going to unsiege. He's going to back away a little bit again. It's just rough. He can't really do much against the Libs. He could Matrix them and take them out of the equation for a little while, but for right now he's just being bullied around out of position from where he wants to be. And yeah, he's definitely kind of paying the prices now. ByuN's used this as a way to carve his way into Clem's base. Okay, well, credit where it's due. ByuN did hold Clem for a long time here. And the moment he sees an opportunity is the moment he's just going to commit and actually really take advantage. Now, Clem's across the map, ByuN's across the map, and both players are going to have a weird situation. So, trying to keep an eye on the picture-in-picture and this main screen, because both are kind of important fights to figure out who's going to have what and who's going to stay in control of where. I mean, ByuN losing a base on the left side does have the top right base coming up that Clem doesn't have just yet. Looks like Clem's going to lose his gold base, though, so losing one of these forward bases already. That's a base which ByuN is currently mining himself without too many issues, though. "22 minutes on Pride of Altaris." You got to feel like this is the kind of game that ByuN wanted when he picked this map as well. Clem looping back around. He's recovered on the army supply count. It's just a question of what is in the army that's actually going to be useful. Missile turrets go down, but they get 2 Vikings in the process. You talk about efficient static defense. You don't see that a lot in TvT because there's not a lot of static defense for Terrans, right? It's missile turrets, and that's about it. But yeah, actually going to come into play here. The Ravens are just going to go into the Vikings. Masses of order turrets, matrixes as well, takes down the tanks. This is where the Raven count should come through, right? Because Ravens, even if you've got to be a little bit YOLO with them, are just so freaking effective. And that was a play, and he gets rid of a lot of stuff there, Clem. ByuN is the player with a lot more in the bank now, though. Eventually, having that worker lead, it's actually kind of, really paid off for him. So that's something that ByuN's benefiting from as Clem will siege tanks here, and he wants to do what ByuN was doing, start pushing into kind of ByuN's gold base. Now, what will be interesting as well, though, is that this really leaves the middle and the left side of the map very open. So maybe ByuN can do something counterattack-wise over there. As I think there might even be some SCVs somewhere going down to a counterattack. ByuN loses the top right base. Okay, there's Liberators here, but I mean, to the south, I think, is where the drones are, or the SCVs are actually continuing to go down. Okay, some SCVs over here. I don't know. Observer's not showing us, so 22 SCVs are just going down, I guess, mostly to that Liberator in the drop. I believe there's other Liberators elsewhere as well, though, as His Planetary finally protects itself. Clem is taking out bases of ByuN, but now his SCV count is so low. We're on the point where Clem is almost all in with this army. If he doesn't win with this army, then he's in trouble. He's going to find these tanks over here, just matrix them all up, siege the tanks, and, well, the gold base at least will end up denied. Still like that he's not simming the Marines when he doesn't need to. Taking bases away from ByuN means that his worker count maybe isn't actually that effective, isn't actually that impressive. 34 SCVs just went down. Here come the Vikings and the Marines. Tanks will siege in the center. Ooh, one Raven went down. Clem's building UCs. ByuN's building UCCs. Clem is building up some SCVs to kind of get back into the SCV count again. That's going to be a very important part of this. Medevac boosting back over the left-hand side. Oh, nice matrices, but this time the tanks were already on siege and backing up. But maybe Clem can take a bit of a better setup. There's a few Marines and a medevac there that I don't think ByuN has realized yet. That's something to keep in mind. As Clem, of course, he is kind of forced into making something happen, so he's taking these fights. His Ravens have all gone down. And I think Clem's going to lose this fight. Even if it's in somewhat even trades, he doesn't have the workers to rebuild, and so ByuN is looking as though he's going to get it done to tie us up again in this best of 7 between Liquid and the Shopify Rebellion. Man, you know, I was singing Clem's praises, and I really felt like he was playing a great game. He had a lower worker count, but he was trading so well. There was that one fight where he lost all his Vikings, and he lost all air control all at once. He just got a little bit overeager. He stimmed into some tanks instead of just letting his own tanks clear it out slowly. And in that moment, ByuN got an advantage that he could just push with heavily. And I think up until that point, Clem played a really good game, but he messed up enough to give ByuN enough room to work with. And ByuN took so many more advantages from there, including the chance to get rid of so many SCVs and just to be in a harassing position that he wasn't in previously. And I do think that is where a lot of this went wrong for Clem and where a lot of this backfired. Because, yeah, it was a really very good game from Clem initially. I will say it again, and I will stand by that, I do believe. Marines coming through, tanks taking some hits, Vikings coming through. I mean, okay, just Clem does not have the numbers here, he does not have what is needed. This is going to be a little bit too much as the Liberators will set up, SCV is going to be going down. And, well, just going to be having this army of ByuN continuing around the bottom left-hand side at the moment. So, getting that up and rolling still. I mean, ByuN's just slowly pushing his way into victory here. Clem trying to take the gold base back. ByuN is maxed out against an 87 supply Clem. This 27 minutes of TvT is going to come to a close here on Pride of Altaris, with Clem trying to hold. The tanks are just untouchable, though. They really are. Vikings pushing this orbital away. Taking that all the way back here. And again, this will tie the series 2-2, heading into Scarlet versus Hearthstone. A 2-0 would win the series for either side. There's the GG. ByuN takes it. And we're 2-2 in this big matchup for both these teams in the league. Shopify Rebellion the chance to maybe gift a little. It would be nice to get back above 1,000 because it really does allow us to just do a little bit more when it comes to running tournaments, etc. It's Hearthstone and ByuN go up against each other. Good luck is called. Kick off. Top right-hand side, Blue Protoss player Hearthstone from Team Liquid. Bottom left, our right Terran is Shopify Rebellion's ByuN. Any tournaments after WTL today? I mean, considering we have 2 more best of 7s in WTL, we're going to be here for a while, but no, not from me at least. I have dinner plans. As we kick off into this Ace match, thank you so much, Phil McJr. for the Prime for the 3 months. Happy to support with a Prime sub. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you for making my sellout worthwhile. As yes, we dive into this TVP Hearthstone. Taking on ByuN. Hearthstone played some great games when he played against Mara in that TSL qualifier. But, you know, on any given day, I do feel like I gotta favor ByuN. Server is fair. It's America's, right? It's not like one player has a ping advantage or anything. Excited to see what these two come out with and what specifically maybe Hearthstone has planned for us here to try and take on ByuN. and give Liquid what would be an oh-so-important victory to boost them up a little bit. I guess with the 1 point guaranteed, they will absolutely go ahead of Afrika just due to map score today. Obviously, just to gain any point right now just goes such a long way. It means so much to kind of get you kind of back into that playoff position. Liquid narrowly missed out last season. They would hate to miss out again. That is for sure. Nexus on the way down. Cybercore starting to build. As we see that orbital coming up, Command Center starting up on the natural expansion as well, and just getting a lot of this up and ready to go. So a lot of setting up right now, a lot of getting started, seeing just how things will go. No Reaper, right? Just the reactor into a factory after one Marine. So saving the 50 gas on the Reaper doesn't feel like it's going to be all that useful. As the Stargate gets going as well on Harstom's side of the map. So getting that Stargate rolling out, getting that underway. And just getting all of this rolling. And Starport's going to be giving us some drop potential, perhaps. Some medevac or so early. Because obviously you see a Hellion initially could just go into mines from there, and then obviously you can continue through with that. That's a fairly common way of this turning out and way of playing, so definitely expecting that as one of the larger possibilities in this. Otherwise, yeah, just kind of, I suppose, waiting on a setup which is going to be kind of mostly from Harstom to tell us what will happen. He is going to go into that Phoenix play. So he's going to start building Phoenix, and with the Phoenix on the way out, I kind of like it, you know? We're going to get Phoenix going. That's going to be kind of cool. It's definitely something that can go very well for you. It's something that he used very successfully against Maru in the TSL qualifier. We're going to have to reference that series a fair amount here because that's probably the most notable TvP that Harstom played in recent time. As ByuN has honestly been playing some of his better StarCraft in a long time as well. I think gotta be, you know, give credit where it's due there as well. It's gonna be seeing our Raven continuing up also, and just gonna see a couple of Phoenix already out. So the Raven is something you don't really want usually actually against these Phoenix, because the Raven just goes down way too easily to the Phoenix. The Phoenix will just kind of dive bomb in. They can get a lot done very quickly. That's something you typically just want to end up avoiding. So that part of this is actually pretty nice for the Protoss player as the first Phoenix get turned around. Raven will still be kept up just in case you can sneak it around the map. Maybe you can make some use of it. It's not guaranteed going to die. It's just, it is an easy pick off most of the time. So that's something to keep in mind here. And it's not like it's going to get the chance to, like, Matrix up a Colossus or, you know, hit a massive anti-armor missile. Just don't think that will happen too often here. So we'll see how the Raven goes. The Phoenix are still looking around. They'll find another SCV in the main base. Without any harassment currently happening out on the map, we're in a situation where, well, yeah, in a situation where basically the Phoenix can just do this. They can be aggressive, they can harass, and they can put some pressure on in these early stages. And that's exactly what they will continue to do. So, yeah, so far so good. Again, ace game is, oh, that's straight up lagging the game this time. This time we have an observer lagging out. ByuN goes for the 5-1-5-1-5-1-5 build, while Harstom goes for the 1-4-1-4-1-4-1-4. It's important to note there is that Harstom actually got 4 full cycles of the 1-4 out, while ByuN only got 3.5 cycles of the 5-1 out, which means that Harstom is actually a faster player. More clicks during that little bit of downtime. And that's obviously very substantial, very important to note. You know, Harstom faster player, bigger brain. If you're a faster player, you must have a bigger brain, and hence basically impossible to lose. So I think we may as well just crown Team Liquid and say they're the champs, and we go from there. Look, ByuN types ready without even the E and the A as well. He's really struggling. He actually just can't type fast enough right now. Oh geez, ByuN. ByuN, ByuN, ByuN. Well, ByuN reacted faster, but he did less presses. How does that make any sense? Don't try and out-logic the logic. You know, sometimes Twitch chat you make good points, but this one you just can't win on. It's clear that ByuN is in shambles, and Harstem is clearly right now the superior player looking to be the champ for Team Liquid today in the Ace match. Phoenix turn around, his Colossus continue up, and well, we know that ByuN likes to play an aggressive style of pretty much any matchup, so I'm sure ByuN is aware of, or Harstem's aware of the fact that he's likely going to have to defend some aggressive attacks here, and that's why the Phoenix Colossus is really good. I feel like it's really good defensively at drawing the game out and so on, so expecting to see a good amount of this. Phoenix just pinging onto the medevac as they watch this army come across, so he knows exactly what's coming his way. That's always nice to know as well, of course, to start out with. And if you know exactly what's coming your way, yeah, you're just in a comfortable position, really, as the Phoenix come back over the top, and Team Marines and Marauders will be quick to turn Phoenix around. Few Zealots here, as we do have a medevac nearly going down, not quite just yet. 2 force fields. Now we're going to have the Matrix on the Colossus. So that Raven did get the Matrix off. I didn't think this Raven was going to get so much use in this game. Super Battery doing a great job of keeping things alive, though, including the Phoenix are still around. Super Battery goes down, but there's another battery still available. Now the Phoenix have chase potential. I'd love to see them get rid of the Raven. I know I've talked about that Raven a lot, but I don't feel like you should let any more come out of that Raven here. It really feels like that's something the Phoenix could have probably already target fired. Like I say, a lot of the time you see Phoenix really just dive bombing a Raven just because they know they can get rid of it quickly. ByuN gets all the way away with this, as Harstem does hold initially and didn't lose the Colossus, right? The Colossus got Matrix, but it didn't die. The Super Battery did its job of keeping everything alive there, and actually made that a successful defense for Harstem. It looked scary, but it was absolutely okay towards the end, for sure. So, Colossus, 3 of them out. Obviously nice that you didn't have to, you know, basically build 4 just to have 3, and that means that now you're going to disrupt production already, so that's also going to help you out defensively here, and another little something to keep in mind and to keep our eyes on. Couple barracks going to be finishing up in the natural, going to start up a tech lab and a reactor as that production continues through at the moment from ByuN. Good setup for Harstem, but a long way to go in the grand scheme of the game, of course. As I do wonder what will be next with the when it comes to these Phoenix and stuff, right? And what the Raven will try and do. That's what I was really kind of wondering. I know I'm just on like a Raven hype train. But like, do you save up the energy and get like a double Matrix off? Maybe you can Matrix like a Disruptor or something. Pylon up on that top side is just chilling out for the moment. Widowmine gets to go off, and the Phoenix takes a little bit of damage from that. Viking count is coming up, of course, necessary against Phoenix and Colossus. That's why the Disruptors are nice, because you've got an alternate kind of form of splash damage right now available to you as well. So it's nice to have that kind of choice of splash, rather than just being shoehorned into a single kind of option. And Harstem knows he's getting into his late games. He's getting that Dark Shrine down, knowing that's a major way for him to harass as this game continues on. So, yeah, just setting up nicely with that as well. ByuN's actually supply blocked him pretty badly too. Only just now started 3 depots, so he had to call down supply there to actually unsupply block himself for the moment. It's obviously just a little bit of a mistake, man. Those couple of Widow Mines continue to do decent against the Phoenix, and the armies across the map. I feel like this time the Phoenix did not really track this army across the map very well, so let's see what happens. He blinks in, he's going to get the Raven. He matrixes the first Disruptor, which was already firing. Now you got to be careful about the others. Obviously don't want to let the Disruptors be too far forward there. That one was, they were kind of walking into the ByuN army, and that was scary. Not a bad blink, though. I think removing the Raven from the equation does a lot, and these few Phoenix, well, they don't really want to be here at all. Harstem trying to buy himself some time for charge, I'd imagine, will be pretty substantial in all of this as we continue through. Additional Stalkers warping in. ByuN comes in, gonna grab a pylon. Stalkers do blink forward and grab a Viking already. The ByuN force comes through. Disruptor gets taken down, and the couple Colossi continuing to fight. The Stalkers also continue to march on forward and just turn this around as the army of Harstem sat between the bases. As you can see, ByuN still working around the top side. A couple of Stalkers finishing warping in. Disruptor shots could be big here, but, well, so could the denial on the Disruptors. 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one didn't get targeted, so it does connect, but man, 3 Disruptors just dying immediately. They were all just, I mean, he just walks them forward again. The control on those Disruptors has been a little bit lacking so far. Absolutely needs to be improved. But EMP is going down. Stalker's getting hits. Cannon set up over on the right hand side. Just gonna see a couple of Disruptors setting up. +2 attack about to be done. +2 armors on the way. Army just coming up to the left-hand side. Going to take that watchtower for the moment, and, well, the army from Hearthstone, in the end, is surviving, defending. Moving forward, a couple of ghosts to lead the charge there. Another DT being warped in, a few more Disruptors. Continuing up, a few SCVs going down on the other side of the map as the DTs do show themselves, and there's a little bit of harassment, even blinking around to try and get out of trouble there, but just can't really do enough. Gonna knock down the rocks. Again, just opening the map up a little bit at the moment here. As we get ourselves settled. Ooh, Disruptor shots go through, but they completely miss. He didn't readjust the position on either of them. This one only clips a couple Marines. The Liberators are going to do good at kind of zoning out these units from coming up the ramp as well. Definitely a big factor as we continue through here now. Also having to escape away to the right-hand side, but it feels like his army is just consistently under some heavy fire. I feel like Hearthstone is just not really taking any good fights, right? It feels like a lot of his fights are problematic for him, you know, leading him into weird positions, difficult places. It just feels like he's losing a lot of units and not getting any value back for any of them. As ByuN just kind of stays maxed out, coming back around. He's going to get a Liberator Siege on his opponent's base, which is obviously a pretty big deal as well. Disruptor fires through, another one as well. Not quite clipping just yet. Another one. Doesn't connect either. Another one! Just nowhere close. He's trying to set up a bit of a flank, which I can appreciate. It's just... feels like we need a little more. We're actually going to load up a bunch of medevacs. ByuN, what was that? Nearly flew over all the Stalkers. He's going to blink in for a half-full one. Disruptor shot killed off. Oh, now these Stalkers are in trouble, though. The rest of the Disruptors aren't here to protect, and Hearthstone is losing a lot of units. Disruptor shots flying from the left and the right to try and protect and to save the day a little bit, but... geez, that was not pretty. That was definitely a concerning few moments as now ByuN runs into the top side. A couple of cannons already going down. The battery's in some trouble. Disruptor shots just going to clip a ghost. So that's a pretty big deal as more ByuN units over to the far right. And again, a Phoenix leading the charge. A Stalker's still moving in. More Disruptor shots clipping more of these ByuN units. Doing a fantastic job as the Nexus on the right side gets taken down as well. Gonna load up our medevacs, and they're gonna start jumping up towards the main base as Hearthstone down about 50 supply, losing a lot of probes. It's definitely problematic. Into the main base we go. Gonna see these Disruptors continue through. Medevacs load up, and now they're gonna drop back down. I mean, there's more Disruptors where the first ones came from, though, as he will continue to just fight them off. It just feels like Hearthstone has no army left anywhere. This entire game feels like it's fallen apart. And it looks as though Shopify will stay undefeated, 8-0. Having to go to the ace match again, but they get it done with ByuN. They should trademark that one. ByuN gets it done. We're missing